Hello, Gigaschatten here with tips and tricks, and today's topic is how to lay minefields and maybe also how to lay them effectively. Alright, so first of all, what you need is always a ship with torpedoes. I think in campaign you can also lay mines with star bases, but since I rarely use that, I don't quite know. I will have a look, but you in normal games, and this will cover like 95 to 100% of all games maybe you play, you need a ship with torpedo tubes. But that's not enough. On top or in addition to that, you also need torpedoes on a ship to perform that mission. All right, so we have an example here. I'm playing the Lizard. I have a capital ship here. There's some beam weapons and 5 torpedo tubes, and it has 10 torpedoes loaded. All right. Now, if I and now let's also state the friendly code to something totally random. Doesn't matter. If I now change the mission to lay mines, look what happens. Let's zoom in a little bit. You already see it asks me, so pay attention again. I'm going for mine sweep. This is the original size of the minefield around my homeworld. If I go for lay mines, the system now asks you how many mines do you want to generate, or in other words, how many torpedoes. So here the upper number is the torpedo count. The lower number is the amount of mines you would get if you would use 10 torpedoes and convert them to mines. Okay, so since I have only 10, the first figure 10 and this all are identical because 10 torpedoes is all I have, and both yield 810 mines. So if I click on that, you see this minefield would be enlarged by a little bit, and the amount it has been would be added would be 810. There are already 441 in here, right? And if I would now lay 810 more, you would then be round about at 1200. You also have a little bit of decay. This is the other green color here, which you see. You lay it like this, but next turn you will have a minefield in the size of this, because as you might know or not, minefields decay with a certain percentage per rate. Is it 5%? Not sure, would need to look it up, or 1%, whatever. Okay, but it indicates how many mines you would lay. Now, the important thing is you already need to have the torpedoes on your ship. What does that mean? Let's say I transfer the torpedoes client side to another ship. I have now 0 torpedoes on this ship. If I now do the lay mines option, you see, even if I choose all, I can lay 0 mines because I don't have any torpedoes. So maybe you want to lay not this size of a minefield, but maybe a little bit larger. You can control that by setting the lay mines here and then maybe transferring just 1 torpedo. Now look what will happen. You see, the minefield size will increase with each torpedo I have, because here I arbitrarily control how many torpedoes I have on the ship, and since I have stated here all always, right, lay mines, all, it will take everything which is available, and as long as I keep transferring torpedoes, I can kind of steer the size of a field. All right, so that's one possibility. But let's say I've got 20 torpedoes on my ship, and I don't have another ship nearby, or a ship which has incompatible torpedo tubes, because you can't transfer torpedoes, Mark 7 in this case, let's say to another ship which has Mark 6 torpedo tubes. Okay, that doesn't work. So how can I still control somewhat how many of these torpedoes I can lay? Well, for that, there are so-called friendly codes. This is this symbol here, and it looks like a wireless LAN symbol, and if you click on it, you can now change this code here. This is a so-called friendly code, and it has 3 digits. One you should already know, which is called MKT, which is the short for make torpedoes. And what it does, just as a reminder, if you get 3 minerals of any kind and the amount of mega credits it takes to build one such torpedo, for example, a Mark 7 torpedo costs 36 mega credits. You will see in a second what happens. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. The moment I transfer 36 mega credits, you will see something happening here, and you'll see next turn I would get 1 additional torpedo because these 3 minerals would be converted to a torpedo. Okay, but you know that maybe from tips and tricks. If you don't, have a look at that video. So again, I don't have another ship nearby, but I still maybe want to just lay half of the minefields, or maybe just 3 mines, or whatever. The question is that granularity possible or not? The answer is to a certain degree. So let's head to another place that's wrong, to this one, which is called friendly code. So if you choose and search planets.nu for friendly codes, you will end up on this page. Please choose the one with the HTTPS. It's help.planets.nu friendly codes. And the section which interests us is are these 2 sections here. Okay, mine laying and minefields. Okay, what does it say? It says, and by the way, before I continue with that, I will also have a section on friendly codes in general, and also parts of this will be repeated there. But important, friendly code consists of 3 letters, digits, or symbol, whatever you want. And to make it short, it doesn't matter in which way you write it. So MSC, MSC, and MSC, all 3 variants will work. So these are just stated for readability. You can also use small letters here. It doesn't matter. Okay. Now, here it says, if you use MD and then hash, hash can be a number from 1 to 0 or 1 to 9 and 0 as well. If either lay mines or lay web mines mission is selected, so lay mines are for every race, and the crystals have a second mine type, which are lay web mines. These codes are the same for them. This will cause your starship to convert 10 times the number specified up to the number of torpedoes on the starship's hold. And MD0 will drop 100 torpedoes. Okay. And for example, MD3 will convert 30 torpedoes to mines. Now, what does that mean? Let's see that in action. If I say now I'm changing the friendly code to MD1, like this, then I would lay 10 torpedoes, right? So if I say lay mines, you see, we'll say I'm going to lay 10 mines. I can still change it, but let's say I press this one. It says I will lay 10 mines, the new minefield will be this size, but I will lose 10 torpedoes. If I reset this and go, although I have set MD mines to lay mines, and go for MD2, it will automatically update your friendly code, so you don't need to remember those. So you can also do it here from the menu, but this functionality wasn't there in former times, so everyone knows how these minefields work. Okay. So for MD2, I've now laid 20. And if I now change it again and say I want to lay 30 mines, we'll go for MD3, but still lay only 20 torpedoes as mines because I don't have more. Yeah, but it will still execute that command. And if you have everything, then it doesn't matter what friendly code you set, it will always then take everything. Okay, that's number 1. What else? There are other codes like MDA, mine drop all. As I said, it's not needed. If you want, you can use it, but you can, instead of MDA, set a random anything, friendly code, and then just go for lay mines. You will always drop everything or convert everything. Next one is MDH. It just says mine drop half. So regardless how many torpedoes you have, you will try to lay exactly half of them. So for 20, half of them is the same like MD1. So MDH and go for lay mines, and it will now half yield the same amount as MD1. So let's take that, and that's it. Now let's say I built 10 more torpedoes or let's take two more torpedoes. I go to this ship, change it to Minesweep, and if I now transfer these torpedoes to this ship, and now with MDH, instead of laying 10, I will lay 11, because 11 is exactly half of it, right? So we go, and half, you see, before, you see it also here. 10 are 810 mines, 10 torpedoes, but half, these are now 11, these convert to 891 mines, so a little bit more. And with that, not only can you now lay 11, but there's also another friendly code. We see it here. It's called MDQ. It's for mine drop quarter. Like 11 divided by 4 is 5.4. I think it will then round it down. So I should be able to lay 5 mines. So let's have a look. Friendly code MDQ. And if I lay mines, you see, it says -5. Why would you need that is the following. Let me see if it is there. Yeah, okay, quarter and half of there. So you could also choose it here from the menu. So either you know that by hand, or you just set it here and it will automatically update it. Okay. Then we have something which is called MIX. This is mine identity. So let's say I am allied with someone, or I see that lizards or enemy lizards and let's take another example. Enemy birdmen and enemy rebels are allied. I have cloakers in the enemy territory, and for some reason they didn't set safe passage or whatever, or I want it to look like as although I am the lizard with cloakers, I want to lay minefields in the identity of the birdman. Well, I can do so if I just change it to mine identity 3, because the race number 3 are the birdmen. And now it also says, you see, the color instantly changes, it gets red, and it says, look, you're going to now lay all your mines, and this is the only drawback with MI set, you can only lay everything, because here I can only set one friendly code, right? If I now change it to any of these, you know, it will turn to my mines again. So MI just always lays it in other races identity, but always all torpedoes. You can't control how many. Okay, so now I would have laid birdman mines here. So I don't want to do that in this game because the birdmen are my enemy. So I am fine with sensor sweep, and I'm going to transfer to this ship 11 torpedoes back. Good. Then we have the next one, which is MSC, which is mine scoop. And this is the same as in the torpedo tips and tricks. I can also scoop up minefields. Means reconvert the torpedoes, the mines which are laid here to torpedoes. And again, you need a friendly code for that. The friendly code is written here. It's MSC mine scoop. And you also need to set the mission to mine sweep. So just setting this to MSC will do nothing, right? The minefield is still there. I have sensor sweep. And if I now click on mine sweep, you see color changes, indicates it with a darker green to tell me, watch out, you're scooping up the minefield and you will have 5 more torpedoes if you do that. Okay. All right. So this was it. Tips and tricks on how to lay minefields.